Any Kine live.
Hi guys.
And the Any Kine call is real. Getting kind of Any Kine.
What kind of work is this, you two?
Of Any Kine live.
Look at the chain is out, gigantic, and he wants to land the six.
And we are back. Any Kine live, we're back, and we're hoping you make you feel some type of way, and we hope that type of way is happy, informed, inspired. We have so many things going on. We've been busy, but we're back. Any Kine live, and I have a great guest today on Any Kine live. He is an inspiration to me. He was a mentor. I've known him since I was 15 years old. He also happens to be the 1988 world champ. Welcome to Any Kine live, Mr. Barton Lynch. Yeah, BL.
Yeah, Kaipo. Great to be here, mate. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm so stoked to have you, Barton, especially since a lot of the work that you've been doing, and it's not recent work, it's been going on for 15 years. You have a competition inspiring young surfers of all levels, the BO Blastoff. Tell us a little bit about the BO Blastoff.
Kipes, we've been around surfing contests a long, long time. And when you think about a kid going to his first event, say, for example, and they're nervous and they paddle out into the water and they hear they got a 2.38 or a 3.92 or a 7.38 or your two-wave total is 7.95 and you came in sixth. And you see all the parents just standing around on the beach going, what does that all mean? Trying to decipher those numbers and try and turn that into some information they can use to help their kid dissect what they did or to learn and to grow. So I always thought it wasn't a very conducive way to having fun to treat young kids like that. So we came up with a concept that's completely different. It's more, surf coaching than it is surf contest. And we don't focus on the winning and losing. Our focus is all on helping kids to improve. And it's been a really successful formula. And people have loved it. 15 years, as you said, in Sydney, and we started to go internationally. We've taken it to Bali. We were looking at the Maldives before all these COVID lockdowns and the like happened. So when all of that went down, we had to start thinking differently about how we could continue to connect with the kids and help them to improve and create a community that was based on stoke.
I love it. And when we look at the past BO Blastoff competitions, the first few days, Barton, in competition, you don't really have losers. It's very inclusive, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the idea. The idea was that, I suppose as well as I do, we live in a world of targeted demographics where people think about what they're doing and target it to a certain audience and try and make it for that audience. And I never buyed that idea in marketing. I always thought you concentrated on what you did and did what you do well and let the market determine itself. And that's what we did. And at Blastoff, we're the first timers event. We get a lot of kids who go in our event who it's the first time they've ever been in a surfing competition. And then we get the best kids in the country who want to win it. And they're all in there together. And as you said, the first 3 days run as a coaching program. We don't score a single ride. All of the kids get to surf 3 times. They go out for their session and they're essentially coached. When they come in, they get this paragraph of coaching and they would go to the Hurley Surf Club van, watch their heat or their session on video, have that coaching explained to them by a professional coach, and then come back the next day with that advice and that experience and try it all over again and have that same experience. So the fact that you don't hear all of these numbers getting read out and all you hear over the microphone is coaching and advice and how to get better at surfing, that becomes what the whole thing's about. It's not about the winning and losing. And then once we've done our 3 rounds and everyone's had their 3 days of surfing, you imagine if you've had 3 firsts in your heat, you get 3 points, 3 sixes, 18. We add up the 3 rounds and we take our top 12 kids into semis and finals on finals day. And that's when we run to a traditional contest format, best 2 waves, score the rides and all of that, because we figure at that point, we've got the kids that want to win. They're there to claim that title. And some Tyler Wright won the first girls 14s we ran 15 years ago. BO, and a lot of people that you know, Caius Kings, Mikey Wrights, a lot of big name surfers have won the event, come through the event, and so it's become a bit of a breeding ground, and I suppose it's the most popular family surf festival in Australia, and something I'm very proud of.
Yeah, there's some great alumni as far as past BO Blastoff winners. And in these times, COVID era, we've had to be adaptive on how we're having surf competitions. So the 2020 version of BO's Blastoff is pretty innovative. I like the fact that it's a virtual competition now, Barton. We opened up entries, submissions on September 14th, and we've already got some great submissions, but we're running all the way till October 31st to submit your submissions to BO's Blastoff right there, bartonlynch.com. You can find it. And talk us a little bit about the process, Barton.
Yeah, you go to bartonlynch.com to enter, follow the links from there. But, the Bali event was our first one that we had to cancel. That was going to be in April, and then I hated cancelling it. I just, it was such a tough decision. And then, looking forward to October, which we would have sort of more or less just finished the Sydney event now. And again, it was a tough decision, but when you reflect on it, and the borders are still closed to Australia, so it was obviously the right decision. And trying to come up with a way to stay engaged with our audience, because the kids, we're like family, mate. All of us as a group, as a community, and that's the whole spirit of the event, is about getting stoked and about helping these kids to improve and then build this community of frothing little grommets, of which I'm the oldest. And so we the idea of going virtual and going online is something that I had in my mind for quite some time, because it gives you that opportunity to connect with so many other kids around the world who wouldn't have the opportunity to make it to a physical event. And so someone with an iPhone and internet access has got that opportunity to connect with us, connect with the community. And so the decision was made to go online. And it's like the first, I remember when we did the first event 15 years ago, and you don't know if anyone's going to enter. And I remember going to the PO box and opening it one day, and there was one entry in there. And there's just this, an envelope with the stamp and the address, and it's the first entry. And I was like, oh, this kid's getting something, man. This is the keenest grommet. He just won because he's the first kid who's ever entered Blastoff. And so we've got all of these different awards that go on throughout the whole process, from entering the event all the way through to the end. And our first event, or our first entry ever in our virtual style of event, was from the South Island of New Zealand, of all places, near Christchurch. Kaikoura is the name, and there he is right there on the screen, Jack Tyro. And I will love that kid forever, because he was the first kid that kind of connected with this idea and got his video in first. He won we're pretty much in that 6-week window, Kipes. We're giving away prizes every single day. We've got great sponsors, and Jack got a Hurley pack, and just the other day sent me photos of himself with all his Hurley gear on and stuff. And so, that opportunity to connect with these kids worldwide at a time like this, which is, when you think about it, the social distancing and that isolation and those sorts of things that essentially are so unhealthy, that for human beings, you need that connection. You need to be around people, and even if it is online in a virtual sense, we're already seeing the benefits of it 2 weeks in, as you said, and still 4 weeks to go.
Yeah, we're going to check out some of the entries so far into BO's Blastoff as it's gone global, it's gone virtual. Take us through this one. Who do we got here, Barton?
This is Leilani Zurich. She's 7 years old, this young girl. She's only 7. She's been to our physical Blastoff events quite a few times. Look at the size of that one, Kite. And she is just such a little frother, and she's a great part of our community. And on each video page there's a chat room, and the kids are in there talking to each other, connecting with each other. And a young girl from Maui, Ruby Stringfellow, and Leilani were having a chat in the chat room the other day, and I saw them talking, and Leilani's like, I can't wait to come over and surf and play with you one day. Because these are little kids, mate, 7 years old, but she just rips, and her goals are clear to her. She wants to be a professional surfer. Carissa Moore is her idol, and she's just driven, this young lady, for 7 years old, and you can see it in the turns. Watch this layback. Classic.
That is so sick. And I love your point, Barton, where the friends that you make from surfing, even from your childhood days, a lot of times they're going to remain your friends throughout life, because the surf community is such an integral part of our lifestyle. It's not just a competition. It's our passion. It's what we live for. And that's why like you and I are grommets in our 50s right now.
Yeah, we don't look like it, and I don't feel like it, but we try to keep that alive, mate. And as you said, we met, 30 years ago, you and I met, and we're still great mates. This here is Luke Temer, and I believe you know Luke.
Yeah, he's from my local surf spot, and I know him and his dad. I watched this young man going from getting pushed into waves to snagging barrels at Pipeline and snagging good waves at Sunset and ripping up Velziland, So Luke Temer, you can see the proof's in the pudding. He's got a bright future.
He's a great surfer and a great young kid too. And when I'm communicating with the kids about what they've won and how they've done, Luke made our first week's final. We had 3 clips in our first week that I couldn't make a decision, So we put it out there to social media, and Luke got second in that to a young guy from Kauai called Jay Wood, and I believe we've got Jay's clip coming up soon too. But you can see the performance in these kids, and when you think they're only 13 and 14 years old, and then you imagine their future, surfing's definitely in good hands.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing to watch a kid in 4 years, 3 years go from getting pushed into waves to doing air reverses. The progression curve is very steep right now with the support to young surfers, especially ones that are multi-generational young surfers that dad, mom surfed before them. So they're clicked right on as we take a look at our next guy right here.
This is a young lady. This is a 13-year-old lady, Willow Hardy from Margaret River. And Willow, she just rips, mate, and she's so courageous. Wow. You can see how's those first waves, mate, up at Nalu, I believe they were. I think she said in her introduction, we followed the whales up north. This young lady's got a great future ahead of her, and we gave her our high performance clip of the week as well. She won a pack from Boost Mobile, and look at that layback. So, the standard of surfing is amazing, and the size of the waves and the commitment that these kids are showing, that the fear factor is non-existent almost. I'm glad she's got a helmet on because she absolutely charges.
I'm blown away right now from the level from this young lady right here. That was really, really, really impressive. Wow. Who do that next?
She's got a young sister. And Willow's got a young sister, Olive, who's 10 years old, following behind her, who's an incredible surfer as well. And this is our week 1 high performance winner, Jai Wood from Kauai. You watch some of the airs Jai does. He's incredible. And really, I suppose when the voting came down, there was another guy, Rico Haybiddle. Look at this. Rico Haybiddle was in the 3-man final with Luke Temer, Jai Wood. And there was a bit of voting along geographical lines, but when you look at Jai's surfing, it was a pretty, in my mind, if I had to make a decision, before I sent it out to social, I said to myself and to my daughter, I said, if I have to make a decision, I'd go with Jai, but let's go and see what the public thought. The public had their say and they agreed.
So in the voting, Barton, since we're talking about that, we have a public opinion to win, but we also have some really decorated judges in your judging panel as well. Who's that include that you have judging?
Yeah, so we're going to have a public vote winner decided by the likes, but then we're going to have an expert's choice. And on that panel is Jack Roberson. I pretty much figure we've got a panel of the best young kind of teenage and above surfers in the world. Jack Robinson agreed to be on the panel, Eli Hanneman and Caius King for the boys, and then Mahina Maeda and Vahini Fierro for the girls. So with myself sitting in on that panel, we've got a six-person group who are going to sit down at the end of the 6 weeks. It ain't going to be easy because it's already not easy. So we're going to sit down at the end of the 6 weeks and we'll make that decision on the expert's choice, best tube, worst wipeout, biggest air, and the best wave.
Wow, and you know what? That expert's choice award is going to have a lot of weight to it, given the level of the judges that you have. Talk about like being judged by people you look up to and your peers and your heroes. That's going to be a big, big, big thing for these young surfers to get basically the prize and the thumbs up from a heavily loaded judging panel.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And that's, the thing that and that's my next job in this process. For the first couple of weeks, we've kind of been, I've never done it before, so there's a lot of learning going on, a lot of stuff you didn't know, and a lot of work involved that you didn't imagine that you would have to do, like music rights. I was getting music the first few days with Dire Straits and Michael Jackson on it. I was going, no, stop that. You've got to respect people's music, and you've got to expect the copyright situation. So all those sorts of situations have been things we've had to deal with as we've gone through it. But now I want to sort of reach out to that professional surfing community and engage them, all our friends and the people that we know, and engage them with the kids and get them going into the chat rooms and commenting on the videos and encouraging these kids and giving them the support from their heroes. I think that to me is a really important thing. And one of the reasons why I feel like that, a little story, is that when I was about 13 or 14, I was truanting school. Not that we suggest that's something that you do, but it was something that I was pretty good at. And I was on the side of the road hitchhiking down to the Coca-Cola Surfabout at Narrabeen as a little kid in my school uniform, and this blue panel van pulls up. And the blue, as it pulls up, I'm like, yes, I've got a ride, and winds down the window, and I look in the window and it's Terry Richardson. And he's driving to the event. He's my hero. And he's stopping to pick up this little school kid on the side of the road. And he looks at me and goes, "Where are you going, Gromit?" And I go, "I'm going to see you, mate. I'm going to watch you." And he goes, jump on in. He takes me down to go to the event with he was my hero, right, as a kid, Terry Richardson growing up. And Richo's taken me to the contest. I spent all day down there at the beach with him, hung out, sat there on the beach with him, watched him surf his heats, and then in the afternoon he drove me back to where I lived and dropped me off on the side of the road where he picked me up. And I was like, wow. It was one of those moments where I was like, that's what I'm doing, mate.
That's a great story. Australian goofy foot, a legend. Terry Richardson, Richo, pioneer over at Black Rock, pioneer at Uluwatu. I mean, if you were growing up in that era and you stood with your right foot forward, you looked up to that man right there. That's a great story, Barton. Wow.
And first goofy foot to win a CT event too. So, Richo, and so he and I are still, he's been like, through my life, my dad died when I was 11 years old. And through my life, Richo's been like a father to me. He's been a father figure to me. And that concept of him makes me choke, that idea of him picking up this little kid on the side of the road and us still being mates and always kind of being there for me through my life. That's kind of one of those things about Blast Off that I feel passionate about, is I want to connect with those kids and help them live their dreams too, because I feel so lucky and fortunate to have lived mine,
I agree with you wholeheartedly. I mean, surfers as a community, it has a history of looking out for each other. And so many of us have had such a blessed life because of surfing, and surfing has provided so much to us. Like, all of us have a feeling of, we want to give back to surfing because surfing has given back so much to us. So you see that. And I wish the rest of the world could live like surfers. I mean, I really think it would be a better place if the rest of the world lived like surfers, and you're bringing people up, and you're you're inclusive,
Yeah, we don't care the colour of someone's skin or where they grew up or how much money they've got or surfing's one of those things that brings us together, and it doesn't matter where you're from or who you are or what you believe, what political party you're a part of, what religious faith you live to, whatever. Surfing's the thing that connects us, and the ocean connects us, and it humbles us and it teaches us that we're not. There's no way you can be cocky and get have a big head as a surfer, because Mother Nature will kick you in the butt straight away and put you in your place. And so it is. It's I suppose, it's our religion, really, isn't it? And surfing's the thing that makes us connect, and it doesn't matter who or what you are. It's the surfing that we love in the ocean.
Yeah. And let's take a look at this. This is an 8-year-old. Who is this? Because look at the size of the wave.
Seriously, that's Asher McClenahan. He's from Maui. He's 8 years old, that kid. 8 years old, and he's dropping into a wave that really, like for us, when you look at that's a 20-foot wave for us. And at 8 years old, he's riding waves like that. We awarded him, I think he got a Futures pack, Asher, and we're all so inspired by that. And there's some crazy, the kids are crazy. One of the things that I've learned out of this already is that there is a generation coming through on the island of Maui that is quite amazing. We've had, most probably if we were to see one particular place here in this video, that's Eden Hassan. He was our week 2 high performance winner. Watch this. These 2 backhand hooks here are just so perfectly timed. The patience at the bottom here and the timing where he hit that. This kid's got a great future. He's 13 years old as well. He's an Australian. And so he was our week 2 winner for the high performance category. And like I said, the performances have been mind-blowing. Every time we've been getting, I suppose we're close to 200 videos now. We've kind of been getting about 10 videos a day. We've got them from all around the world. I got videos from Canary Islands this morning. 10-year-old kid in the Canary Islands sent through a video. So we could watch this combo. This kid, he's 11, this kid. Anuari Chia, his name is, 11 years old from Brazil, super respectful, nice kid. And at first there was just airs galore, and I was going, wow, this kid's an air master. But then you see him on the wave face and on the rail, and he's really good too. So you can imagine the inspiration he's got with Italo and Gabrielle. Watch this next turn here.
That's exactly what I was going to say, Barton. I mean, I'm seeing like flashes of Italo Ferreira in his surfing, and he's just a little grum.
Tiny, mate, 11 years old, and with those inspirations. One of the things, before we watch any more vids, one of the things that struck me is that, or the biggest changes I've seen is when video came about. When we were kids, you get to see a surf movie once every 6 months. And I would get the ferry from where I lived at Mossman across to the Sydney Opera House and go and watch this surf movie. And there'd be all these surfers coming from different parts of Sydney, and we'd all sit in that auditorium, and the movie would start, and people would hoot and holler from the start to the end of the movie. And it was Jerry Lopez, Michael Hose, that generation before us that we looked up to, and it was an incredible thing. But then when kids started to be able to see video at home every day and watch the best surfing in the world, the brain being what it is, and so as clever as it is, the performance levels just started to go through the roof, and video has been one of the biggest inspirational changes to performance that we've seen,
Yeah, and to me, I've always gone on the theory that the internet and video has opened up technique to kids, and now you can't really tell where someone comes from by the way they surf. Like you see glances of Andy Irons with Ethan Ewing. In generations past, Australians surf like Australians, Hawaiians surf like Hawaiians, Brazilians surf like Brazilians. There was this real regional kind of style because you didn't have the access that we have right now. But back to video days, I have one quick story I want to tell you. When I was a kid, Ben Aipa gave me a VHS copy, and it was a Rennie Grain copy, and it was from the Nijima Pro in Japan, and it was from the semifinals up. And I watched that tape so many times. And Barton, you were in that tape along with Derek Ho, Tom Curran, and Mark Akalupo. And so I remember that contest, and we were like thirsty for any kind of surfing, right? And so now it's at your fingertips. Before, I had to have my cherished VHS tape that I would plug in and watch on the grainy screen, for inspiration. So we're in great times. I mean, that's the upside right now. And it's true in how we see surfing progress with all these young surfers. Really impressive.
Oh, it's incredible. And just, as you said, I remember seeing some people who had not seen that, say the Brazilians, for example, that first generation of Brazilians, even the first generation we saw of South Africans outside of Sean Thompson. And there was some raw styles and some individuality that at times you thought, that's a bit funky, but it was them, and it was their interpretation of surfing, and it was real. I love that too. I really enjoyed that that individuality that you saw in people surfing. I think that's one of the important things to maintain in the video age, is to not look too much like someone, but to have your own individuality still shining through, you know?
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, Jaime Fazelka from Portugal, he's 11 years old too. You watch the maturity, the mature bottom term, maturity in these kids, and the style and the technique is just so good at young age. It's that's been the amazing thing. You know that the kids rip, but I didn't know that under 12s down to 11, 10, those young kids are so close to top shelf level, and you can see that the standard's just going to go through the roof in the future. And then one of the unique things about the Blast Off is that my focus in it is to give these kids coaching. So on every one of these videos that we've received, Kaipo, I watch it, and I've got a couple coaches that work with me as well. We watch these videos, we go to the chat room, and we put our coaching in there for them, free of charge, just to help them and to keep that focus on where we want it. We want them to, look at this video challenge, take the advice that they're given, and in 6 weeks' time, see a video from these kids and go, oh, look, he has improved. And we kind of look at it like that. It's a 6-week challenge to improve your surfing. Check all the advice and all the coaching that the other kids get, because you don't just learn from what you're being told or what you're being suggested to try, but you learn from looking at other kids, trying to imagine what they're doing right or wrong, and then checking the chat room and the advice and seeing what the coaches have said in there, and learning and growing and expanding your understanding of surfing and getting to that point where you just coach yourself.
Wow, what a resource. So we got a whole nother month right now. If you're 14 and under, boy or girl, go to bartonlynch.com, sign up for BL's Blast Off, put in your video submission, and you got a chance to win some heavy prize packs. You have great support over there at the BL's Blast Off, but also more valuable is the free coaching you're going to get from some of the best competitive minds and technique and body mechanics in surfing that you'll ever have. So what a great resource for young surfers right now. If you're 14 and under, don't miss this boat. Submit something to BL's Blast Off.
Yeah. And then the other thing too, Cope, that we feel is super important is it's not just for good kids. We've got kids who have been surfing a year, who are just, they want to learn, they want coaching, and they want to be a part of a community. They want to meet friends from overseas and connect, like you said, connect with someone from the Canary Islands and go, hey, when I'm older, I'm going to come over and surf with you. That wave looks amazing, and we see all of that kind of energy going on. And this is Zoltan. Platon, that's right, Platon. This kid's from Russia. His parents are from Russia. He lives in Bali.
I caught my first barrel. It was amazing.
You. And this is his first ever barrel. It's a proper one. Look, fully backward. Look at that. Yeah, Platon.
That is insane.
I first met him a year and a half ago or so at the Bali Blast Off, and he came up to register. My daughter Temer and I were there at the registration desk, and he came up and he said, hello, my name is Platon. I'm from Russia. I'm here to win the contest. Like that. And we were like, this is a great kid. We love this kid.
I love that. I was going to say, Barton, and I don't know if hopefully Nick the Ripple, we can cue it up, is that another thing that surfing teaches you, especially you learn at a young age, is how to get back up. After you're beaten down, how to get back up, get back on that horse, and continue to ride. And so the Wipeout Reel is pretty real. Let's watch this stuff.
Yeah, that was Ned Hart from Western Australia there. And how's the Wipeout technique evolution over the years, Kaipo, too, for you and me? This is Eden Hassan. Oh, he got lucky there, just missed his board. This Wipeout Reel's pretty amazing from Eden. He's the one who won our High Performance Award for week 2 and absolutely rips. But you can see here that he rips because he's putting himself in some critical situations and he's having a real dig, But the Wipeout, I've said that in some of the coaching advice, is that, people have learned there's a Wipeout. Look at this one. Look at the bottom drop out of this. Nose goes in. 13 years old, just throwing themselves over. Yeah, so wipeout technique's an important part of learning, isn't it? An important part of surfing, and it's, oh no, this is a heavy one. This is, you know Steve Robbo, this is Steve Roberson.
Yes.
Baby is his nickname. That's his first surf at his 12th birthday. It was on his 12th birthday. He took off on that one. You look at the board tombstoning there. He's under, the jet skis are in, they're trying to get him. He does not come up, Kai.
Let's just say, I believe this is Peahi. I think the 12-year-old surfing
that's Jaws.
Yeah.
12-year-old at Jaws. 12, a two-wave hold down on his 12th birthday. Look, he's still under.
Wow.
I get him. You know what he said in his comments when he loaded this video and submitted this clip? He said it was, I think he said it was the best 12th birthday present he could have ever got. He loved his two-wave hold down. It's something I've spent my life trying to avoid, and he's 12 years old and just loving it.
So this is little Stevie Roberson, and at Peahi, at Jaws, Dad's a great surfer, Uncle was a legendary aerialist, and we'll take another look at this. This kid, two-wave hold down at 12, I guarantee you by the time he's 18, those wipeouts he's going to be accustomed to, and we may even see him at the Jaws Challenge. You just see the stuff, you see the writing on the wall, where you see kids with that kind of heart at a young age that will turn around and go for it. And then after that, after a horrible experience, instead of like running with your tail between your legs, coming in and saying, wow, now I know I can live through that. I got it. I'll do it. I'll make it next time.
He also submitted clips of himself towing Jaws. 12 years old towing Jaws, and then there's his general clip that he submitted into the general category. It's got some amazing surfing. So that kid, and he actually, I think he actually enjoyed the two-wave hold down. He said it was the best birthday present he could have had. Seriously.
Yeah, well, heart of a lion. You know what I mean? Right here. This is a heart of a lion. 12 years old, big future. And it's all the Roberson brothers. I believe there's 3 of them on Maui. And there you go. Wow. I'm humbled.
He's got a little older brother, Justin, who came second to Eden Hassan in the clip of the week as well, in our second week of the event. So that family are charging. I tell you, I'm learning a lot of stuff I didn't know. I didn't know kids did this. I didn't know kids at 12 years old were having two-wave hold downs at Jaws. The videos come in and go into a holding folder, and I go back there and I look at them and approve them, and then we publish them. And I just sit there at night just tripping on the level of surfing, and then the honesty and the decency in these kids, mate. There's the Wipeout Reels there's a young lady called Lola Styles, and she sent in just 10 of these just horrible wipeouts, but had a great sense of humor about it, because she is just stoked to be a surfer, you know. So the blast off thing, we want people to understand that too. It's not just about the best kids. There are those kids pushing that, but it's also for every kid, you know, who just want to surf better, and we give them that coaching and be a part of our community and connect with these kids from around the world, from different countries.
Yeah, lifelong friendships via surfing. And another little tip, because we're always teaching, we want to teach our young surfers coming up in video production. When you do submit your videos via bartonlynch.com and BO's Blast Off, when you do submit your videos, make sure that you don't put any unapproved music. Even if you don't put any soundtrack at all, that's cool, or just yourself talking.
There's heaps of that out there too now. You just go Google YouTube copyright free music, and there's websites of music you can get, great beats to cut your edits to, and none of us get in trouble.
Yeah, there you go. Well, it was great catching up with you, Barton Lynch. Again, bartonlynch.com, BO's Blast Off. We got a full month happening right now with more submissions over there, and we'll get updated on all of this. Thank you so much. Take care, Barton, and can't wait to see you again in person, my man. Keep on doing the great work. We're going to continue to check.
Thanks, Kaips. Appreciate the support. I know the kids do too. We're stoked to get that support and to spread the word. And I can't wait for us to get into the booth and get to call some heats, mate. It feels like forever since we got to do that.
But up until then, we got Any Kind Live, and we're going to keep you updated over here. Good Vibes Any Kind Live. Thank you, Barton Lynch. And thank you to all of our viewers. We really appreciate the support. If you like the episode, hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell to get notifications. More Any Kind Live coming your way real soon. Aloha.